we've got the mainstream media against Trump. We've got the mainline establishment politicians against Trump. And this was a story from Yahoo. Larry Summers is worried about enormous damage to the economy. Oh, now Larry Summers is worried. It's, you know, he's only been serving this country for over a decade with Clinton and Obama. But now, see, now Larry Summers is worried. Trump hasn't even been in office, but what, a month? And now Larry Summers just conveniently worried. In a wide-ranging interview in his offices at Harvard University, well, Harvard, what do you expect? And then, of course, the liberal students buy everything he says. Summers called the new administration pronouncements on trade, for instance, wildly irresponsible and potentially very dangerous. Excuse me, Larry. Remember those trade agreements that you made with the Clinton administration? How did that turn out to be? Oh, wildly irresponsible, potentially dangerous. And then you got Trump coming in who just wants to lower taxes and make fair trade. But that, according to Larry Summers, is wildly irresponsible and potentially very dangerous. Yes, so dangerous that you might pay less taxes, folks. I mean, can you imagine? Unbelievable. Summers, of course, the former president of Harvard, was Treasury Secretary during the Clinton administration. And when he was the director of the National Economic Council, he was also the chief economic advisor for President Obama. So again, he's been serving. He knows the economy. He's worked with governments, whether it be Clinton or Obama. But now Trump gets in and there's a problem. It's all Trump's fault, even though Trump has only been in for a month. Well, you see, folks, but this is how it goes. Anytime something goes wrong from here on out, it's Trump's fault. Oh, there's racial division in this country. It must be Trump's fault. It wasn't Obama who was in office for 8 years spewing the rhetoric of division. No. It's Trump. They told me on CNN. This is a quote from Summers. At this point, the details of tax legislation haven't been spelled out. Yeah, they have. You can check his tax plan. It's on DonaldJTrump.com. At this point, the details of what's going to replace Obamacare have not been spelled out. And you know what we're finding out about this Obamacare? Obviously, Jerome Corsi wrote a great story at Infowars.com. But this is such an economic hostage situation now, folks. This has been such an economic disaster that now they're to a point where they feel like they can't retreat because it's such a disaster, because they're having to pull all these funds from these different agencies. So they don't know what to do. And then on the other side, of course, they've got to keep the virtue signaling going, saying, but look at all the health care we're providing people. Oh, yes. It goes on. There's been a lot of attitude, but not yet a clear indication of what the new trade policies are going to be. Again, I'm just curious where is Larry Summers? Where is Larry Summers? Has he been paying attention at all? What the new trade policies are going to be? I think Donald Trump has said America first 100 times, 200 times, 300 times, Larry Summers. But you know what? He's not sure what those new policies are going to be. He, for some reason, cannot hear it when Trump says America first. We haven't yet seen a budget proposal from the new administration. So here's Summers, folks, ripping on Trump and his administration. This guy served under the Obama administration, which doubled the national debt. I'm going to sit here and get lectured by Larry Summers about Trump being dangerous for the economy. He served under Obama that doubled the national debt. See, this is why Alex gets so frustrated, folks. This is such bullcrap. I mean, this is literally, this guy is the pot calling the kettle black here. And he does it right in front of your face, and he thinks you're so stupid. I mean, look at this. Donald Trump has already cut the debt $20 billion down. Now, of course, this is like pennies into a wishing well here. It's like nothing. The debt is so big. But again, Summers tells you that Trump is the problem. He served under Obama that doubled the national debt. You want to talk about wildly irresponsible and potentially very dangerous? How about that, Larry Summers? But see, you didn't have a problem with it then, right? No. He goes on, I think the Obamacare changes run the risk of both raising healthcare costs and leaving millions of people without health insurance. Wow. Exactly what Obamacare did. So, I mean, whatever. Okay, So let's say that you repeal Obamacare and then healthcare costs go up and millions of people don't have health insurance. Well, then that'd be the exact same result you got from implementing Obamacare, wouldn't it? So again, why do you have a problem with it now? And then you've got these people like John Boner coming out here trying to tell you, oh, well, they can't do anything about it. You know, if I was Trump, I would just, this is what I always say. Did we not have health care before the Affordable Care Act? Was there no health insurance before Obamacare? No, there was. And in fact, I am one of the people that actually, because of Obamacare, originally didn't have health insurance because I wasn't going to pay into that. I believed it was unconstitutional and against my religion. How do you like that? But he says that if you get rid of Obamacare, millions will leave the health insurance industry. Well, guess what? That already happened with Obamacare, and those raising health care costs that you're so concerned about, Summers, those came with Obamacare, buddy. But again, if Trump wants to do something about health care, it's terrible. If Trump does anything with the economy, it's wildly irresponsible and potentially very dangerous. But when Summers comes in with an unconstitutional Affordable Care Act under the Obama administration, it's okay. When Summers comes in with the Obama administration and doubles the national debt, that's not wildly irresponsible or dangerous. Sure. Go to InfoWarsStore.com, folks. Support this broadcast. We'll be right back with more. Owen Schroyer filling in on The Alex Jones Show. So Obamacare is an absolute failing disaster. Jerome Corsi has written about the most recent findings with the Obamacare disaster on InfoWarsStore.com. There's a deficit. They can't find the money, so they're basically just going to steal it from anybody and everyone who they can, and they think they can get away with all of it. And, you know, I'm thinking about this. All of these welfare programs that we have, all these handouts, now it goes into health care. I mean, eventually, folks, they're going to make it, the government is basically a charity organization now. So they're going to make charity, they're going to basically price charity out. You're going to have so many charitable donations through the taxes with the government. In fact, you already do, really, if you really wanted to get down to it. But I mean, they're just going to go ahead and tax charity out of existence. I think that that's what they want. Of course, you look at who gives to charities, it's usually conservatives, but that's neither here nor there. Here's one man who claimed he was a conservative while he was in office, and it turns out now that George Bush is proudly flying the globalist flag now. And he's coming out against Trump. In a story from Politico, George W. Bush, I don't like the racism and name-calling under Trump. Wow, who would have thought that George Bush was a special little snowflake after all? What is it David Knight calls him, Shrub? I kind of like that. Shrub, George Shrub, doesn't like the racism and name-calling under Trump. You know, I got to be honest, a lot of the older conservatives that I know, I'm 27 years old, and the people that I used to work with that were in their 40s, 50s, and 60s that were conservatives, for the most part, liked George Bush. For the people that were under 40 and conservative, they might not necessarily have liked George Bush, but they didn't look at him like he was a bad guy. They thought that overall he was probably a good president. It's now reached a point where the conservatives that I would speak to that were big fans of George Bush, they thought that he was a great president. They can't stand him now, folks. He's completely tarnished his own name, his own reputation by flying the flag of the globalists. Look, George, all Donald Trump is doing is putting a message of America first. And the fact that you can't get behind that, I think shows your true colors. Former President George W. Shrub says he dislikes the racism, name-calling, and people feeling alienated under Donald Trump's presidency. Well, the only people that would feel alienated are the ones that would be here breaking the law, to which you would naturally feel a little bit of discomfort if you were a lawbreaker. But this is all twisted, spun, and then put on a pedestal by the mainstream media. George Bush says that the current political climate in Washington is pretty ugly. Again, though, who are you blaming this on? See, when Obama was president and all of this stuff was going wrong, what did the Obama supporters say? Well, that was Bush's mess. That was Bush's fault. He's got to clean up after Bush. Bush, 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 Bush. Shrub, 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 shrub. But now Trump is president and nothing is Obama's fault. See, it's all Trump's fault. And the weird dynamic here actually is, folks, if you really want to get down to the psychological aspect of this, Trump has been the president for a year. Okay? Donald Trump was my president a year ago. In fact, whether you believed he was going to win or not, no matter what you thought the upcoming election results were going to be, Donald Trump was already the president, folks. He was in every living room, every day, on every news station, 24/7. He was the guy. He's been the president for over a year. So that's why they can come out and say, it's Trump, it's Trump, it's Trump. Even though he's only been in office for a month, it's felt like he's been in office for a year because he's been that dominant. So that explains that, at least in my view. People asked Bush whether Trump's proposed travel ban targeting several predominantly Muslim nations poses a threat to the Bush Center's work, to which the former president responded, now that you mention it, it might bother me, but we'll figure out how to bring them over. Really? I quote, now that you mention it, it might bother me, but we'll figure out how to bring them over. Can you imagine if George W. Shrub made that comment on September 12th, 2001? I'm just curious how you think that would go over. We'll bring them over no matter what, George Bush says after September 11th. It gets even worse from the Bush family, folks. And again, their true colors are showing. It turns out that these people are raging anti-Americans, maybe even eugenicists. Bush daughter set to headline Planned Parenthood fundraiser. Speaking of eugenicists, it's not like the Bush family has any Nazi ties. Barbara Bush will give the keynote address for the abortion giant at an annual luncheon in Fort Worth. Proceeds will go to providing funds for abortions and other services. Barbara is cozy with the Planned Parenthood CEO, Cecile Richards. She referred to a Planned Parenthood as an exceptional organization. Tickets to the luncheon are $150 a pop, $20,000 for a group of 10. So how do you like that? The Bush family promoting abortion. Thanks, George Bush. Thanks, Barbara Bush, for showing your true colors, you anti-American scum. Alex Jones Show. We'll be right back on the other side. Owen Schroyer here, the Alex Jones Show, 4th hour. And, you know, we just got done talking about the Bush family, to which I can't stand. In fact, I love it when I'm out and I'm at the Trump protests and I'll be trying to talk to people and they'll figure out I'm a Trump supporter and they'll be like, oh, but George Bush did that. George Bush did this and he was here and that. And then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, great. I don't like George Bush. And they freak out. They don't know what to do because it's like, wait a second, I actually have something in common with a Trump supporter? Oh my God, I can't have something in common with a racist? This is impossible. I'm out here protesting Trump. Oh, I'm protesting wars. Donald Trump was against the Iraqi war, but I haven't read a book in 10 years. Oh, wait, you don't like Bush? Oh my God, I need to go home and I need to find a new sign. I need to write a new sign because this guy doesn't like Bush. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, you know, I forgot to even mention these. I didn't even get to these videos we're going to play. George Bush coming out. Again, they're just flying the flag of globalism now, folks, publicly in your face. This is the entire establishment power structure trying to leverage anything that they have left against Trump. Even though the Bushes now are pretty much completely repudiated by the American electorate, they're still going to try to use whatever leverage they can out of the Bush family to try to use that against Trump. But Bush is coming out talking about Trump and Russia needing the Trump-Russia ties needing to be exposed. You know what, Matt? Do you have that video ready? Let's just go ahead and play that video.
You mentioned Vladimir Putin. So many questions about the contacts between Trump associates during the campaign and the Russian government. As a former president, would you like to see a special prosecutor appointed to look into this once and for all and give the American people answers?
Well, first of all, I think we all need answers. Whether or not the special prosecutor is the right way to go tonight, you're talking to the wrong guy.
Yeah, we want
answers. I have great faith in Richard Burr, for example. He's the head of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Really good guy and an independent thinker. And, you know, if he were to recommend a special prosecutor, then I'd be, then it'd have a lot more credibility with me. But I'm really, I've never been a lawyer. I'm not sure the right avenue to take. I am sure, though, that question needs to be answered.
Did you just hear that, folks?
Only 8 or 9 months after.
Hold on a second. George Bush just said, hey, look, I'd be happy to make this appointment. I mean, this is a big deal, but I'd be happy to make this appointment. It'd have a lot more credibility if it was me than anyone else. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm saying that I'm the most credible person on earth. So, put me in charge of that probe and I'll figure out whatever ties Trump has to Russia. You better believe it. I'm sure you will, Georgie Shrub. course, the funny thing is, wait, go ahead. Okay, yeah, so we've got another, but here's the deal. You know, I'm not even going to throw that clip because it doesn't matter. Our audience already knows this. But yesterday, folks, multiple members of our government went onto the Hill and said, there's no evidence. We have no ties. We can't prove anything. We have no hard evidence to offer you. Sorry. But George Bush, but see, oh, but that's because George Bush isn't involved. Oh, now I get it. See, they can't find any ties. It's not because there's none that exist. Obviously, they exist. The media told me all day long. I mean, I got Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters. I mean, I can trust those women. I mean, they are clearly stable. I mean, clearly Maxine Waters is stable, folks. Clearly Nancy Pelosi is not mentally deranged. These people are obviously with it all the time. But now I understand. See, the reason why we couldn't find the ties is because George Bush wasn't involved. So there it is. So George Bush, you know what, maybe we'll get him involved and we'll finally be able to find those ties. No, but really, this is such a joke. It's so pathetic. It's been such, I mean, again, when did these things start coming out? Okay, Trump and Russia. I mean, it's been pretty much every round heavyweight fight with the media trying to expose Trump and Russia for 4 months now. You had Obama say, I'm going to get a detailed investigation and I want the findings on my desk. I want them on my desk. Well, whatever happened to those findings? Did they ever reach your desk? Never heard about them. All these politicians, all this media apparently looking into these ties, all you found out was a fake PP gate. But again, it's because George Bush isn't involved, folks. So we got it all figured out. George Shrub is going to get involved. But you know what? No, this is actually amazing. I really hope that George Bush and the Bush family continue to come out against Trump and expose themselves for who they really are. Because this is only going to bring America together. All the people out there who couldn't stand George Bush, he was part of the reason why Obama got in. So you got all these people out there, they hate George Bush. He's a warmonger. They get it. At least they think they get it. We can be on the same side with that issue. So if George Bush wants to keep coming out against Trump, guess what, George? You are going to unite America greater than you did on 9/11. Think about that. Remember that, folks, on 9/11, we all united behind the newfound patriotism that we were not going to let radical Islamic terror attack our way of life. Now, I don't think I need to sit here and talk about what InfoWars thinks about 9/11 and the events that took place there and the fake news that is the 9/11 Commission. But with Bush coming out against Trump, that's going to force all of the Trump constituents, all of the Trump supporters, many of which may have liked Bush, to come out and now repudiate George Bush, which will then have the people on the left who have always hated George Bush seeing the Trump supporters repudiating George Bush and then bringing them together on that playing field. Now, what might manifest as far as an election in 2020 from that, I'm not sure, but I think it's only a good thing. We've got the Trump-Pence 2020 t-shirts at InfoWarsStore.com, Trump-Pence 2020 t-shirts. Go to InfoWarsStore.com. But I really think that the Bushes coming out as pro-abortionists, as anti-Trumpers, fake news Russia, it's only going to intensify the Trump movement towards 2020. There it is, Trump-Pence 2020, keeping America great. And, you know, I've got these stories here, and Alex talked about briefly the Subway chicken or the Subway soy chicken, whatever it is. I'm going to start with this story because there's a lot of confusion here. This is a story from Yahoo, and I think you know exactly what the goal intended here is, and this is why Yahoo decided to run a story like this with this headline. This blogger had the best response to body shaming comments of her Instagram. So what you've got here, folks, is you've got this girl. You can see her here if you're a TV viewer. And I guess she's one of these people that, you know, they think they're an Instagram model or whatever. They put a filter on a picture of themselves on a selfie, and all of a sudden they're a model. So that's fine. But anyway, so she thinks, you know, she's an Instagram model. And I'll get into the meat of this story. But basically, she used to be thin, used to be fit, And then she put on a bunch of weight. The television viewers can see this video, and she's showing it off. She's basically bragging about how she put on, like, I guess, I don't know how much weight she put on. I don't know if it's exactly in this story. But she's proud. She's proud about how she put all this weight on. Yeah, let's just get into the story. So, thanks in part to outspoken body advocates, we've made great strides towards greater body positivity and body acceptance in general. Yeah, I'm just supposed to accept a bunch of fat turds walking around. I'm just supposed to accept that. Now, actually, the truth of the matter is there's been kind of a reversal of this fortune in the last few years with health kind of trending, being healthier, being skinnier kind of trending again. So I think people are actually into losing weight now. You look at the city of Houston, which used to be the fattest, they've actually lost some weight down there. So I give Houston credit. But it's funny because it's like the movie WALL-E. Is that supposed to be good? I mean, is it just, should I just be accepting when nobody can even walk anymore? They need a robot just to get up under their own power? No, I'm supposed to be accepting of that. That's body positivity. That's body acceptance. Hey, you're so unhealthy and overweight, you can't even walk around the grocery store on your own. You've got type 1 diabetes, and you're probably going to die by the time you're 50. I accept you. That is a positive body. And again, this comes from the body positive blogger Megan Jane Crabb that Yahoo decided to write about. Crabb posted a side-by-side photo comparison of herself embracing her weight gain and sharing how proud of it she was because it represented, and I've heard this, self-love that she had gained along the way. When I'm out talking to people that support abortion, they say they killed their babies and they did it in the name of self-love. Self-love. This is going to be like the Russian hacking thing. Whenever they do something that they know is morally or physically deteriorating to themselves, they're just going to call it self-love. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to, folks, it's just, you know where this heads. It's like suicide yourself for self-love, basically. Here are some of the captions. Wait, so you decided to ruin your body? She responds, no, I just stopped torturing myself every day for not fitting an image I was never supposed to be. Oh, I guess you were supposed to be fat then. I guess that's the image you imagined yourself supposed to be. But you look so much healthier to me before you were fat. That's funny, you look so much more intelligent to me before you equated health with weight and forgot that mental health is health too. See, I love this. Now look, this woman is clearly uninformed on the actual subject matter of health. Okay? You don't need to be a doctor to know that in general, not being overweight is more healthy. That doesn't mean that overweight people can't be healthy. There's a give and take. But if you don't think for 1 second that even being physically healthier doesn't attribute to mental health, you haven't done the research, folks. Trust me on that one. Trust me on that one. There's all kinds of studies that can equate to this. People who are in better shape have better self-confidence and then succeed more often. Okay? But for her, see, but this is the sad thing now. Now, she just decides that she wants to be fat and call it self-love and a social justice warrior routine. And what happens? The liberal media like Yahoo praises her for it. So is that what you want? You want your daughter to see some girl put on a bunch of weight and tell her that it was body positivity and a good thing for her health? Someone said, you could have stayed the same and loved your body. You didn't need to get fat. She said, I could have stayed the same and spiraled back into the eating disorder that almost killed me when I was 15. I could have kept starving myself and obsessively working out for hours every day. But it would not have led me to self-love. Aw. Well, yeah, I would actually agree. If you have an eating disorder and you're killing yourself to try to maintain an image that's impossible, yes, that is probably not good for self-love. You know what? I am a guy who likes to exercise. I usually work out about 6-7 days a week. But you know what? I'm never going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? It's just never going to happen. And I'm not going to get depressed over it. I'm not going to get fat because I can't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was an Olympian or whatever bodybuilding champion. But here's the thing. So again, if you just go back to this image real quick, this is the thing about this, folks. You know, I'm not saying that you have to sit here and starve yourself to be skinny. No. But if you don't think for 1 second that physical health is just as important as mental health, or you don't understand how both of them coalesce together as an overall overarching body of health, then you're just missing the picture altogether. So look, here, for this blogger, why don't you go ahead, you can eat fast food the rest of your life, quit exercising in the name of self-love, and you're going to be 300 pounds by the time you're 40 or 45 years old. See how much self-love you have for yourself then. See, you'll be lucky if you can get anyone else to love you. But maybe, you know what, you're going to have so much self-love on yourself that you put it back into your body, you're not going to have enough love to give anyone else probably. You're so obsessed with yourself, apparently. But what does this all come down to, folks? So you've got both sides of the issue. You've got the people that freak out, that'll starve themselves just to have their rib cage showing. But as Alex talked about, you got the Subway chicken that's only 50% chicken, okay? Now, Subway said this in their statement. We are concerned by the alleged findings you cite with respect to the proportion of soy content in our chicken strips and oven-roasted chicken breast. They only contain 1% or less of soy protein. Okay. So, what is the other 50%, folks? Subway says it's not soy. DNA tests say it's not chicken. You know what it is? It's self-love. 50% chicken, 1% soy, 49% self-love. So Subway will serve you a yoga mat plastic in the bread, and they'll serve you a little self-love mixed with soy and claim that it's chicken. And Michelle Obama will endorse the whole thing in the name of liberalism and making yourself healthier. You know, I wonder how Michelle Obama would feel about the body positivity thing when she practically tries to starve students with her lunch program. But this is a health problem, folks. It really is. Millennial bowel cancer crisis. Young people are 4 times more likely to develop the disease than previous generations due to their terrible diets. You see what's going on here? You don't have to look like a supermodel. You need to take care of yourself. That's what it's all about. And if you take care of yourself, you don't need to bust your ass working out for hours every day. You don't need to bust your ass to make sure that everything you eat, you know, is grass-fed or organically grown. No, just be health conscious. Read the ingredients. Don't go to eat fast food every day. Unprecedented numbers of young people are being diagnosed with bowel cancer due to poor diets and lack of exercise. No, it's self-love. It's bowel cancer because of self-love. But we already seen the studies. When you eat fast food, what is it like for 10 straight days, if you eat fast food, you kill all the good living organisms in your digestive system. So what happens then? Your body can no longer digest properly. Then what happens? You get bowel cancer. So this is a nasty cyclical thing here that needs to be stopped. And self-love, body positivity isn't the answer. Ignoring the health issues that come with unhealthy diets and lack of exercise is not self-love, is not the answer. The study warns the data should be a warning sign that this generation faces an epidemic of digestive diseases and suggests we should beginning screening people in their 20s. Now, you do hear something like this. You say, oh, this is just the healthcare industry trying to make more money off of us. But we know that these studies are real because we've already seen the effects in the gut when you eat nothing but fast food. Educational campaigns are needed to alert. This is an actual statement. I forget who made this statement, but educational campaigns are needed to alert clinicians and the general public about this increase to help reduce delays in diagnosis, which are so prevalent in young people, but also to encourage healthier eating and more active lifestyles to try to reverse this trend. No, I just say we have self-love. Look, we live in a modern society, folks, okay? Why do you think breast cancer rates are up? Why do you think, infant mortality rate? I mean, it's all changing. All autism, all of this is changing. What else is changing? We're getting more vaccines. Our diets are changing. Our sleep patterns are changing. The light that we see every day is changing. Most people don't get actual natural sunlight anymore. They just get the fake light. This is all happening at the same time, and it all is negatively impacting our health. And just ignoring it and saying, oh, I love my body anyway. As long as I have self-love, I'll be fine. No, you're probably going to get diabetes and die of bowel cancer. Infowarsstore.com. That's how we stay healthy. Check out the products. We'll be back. Final segment, Alex Jones Show. You know, I just figured it out, folks. I just figured it out, and this is why it bothers me. You know, this girl on Instagram gains a bunch of weight, puts the self, normally in every other situation, it's like, hey, I used to be out of shape and unhealthy. Now look at me. I'm in shape. I'm healthier. I'm smiling more. My body image is better. Everything, mental health, everything is better. But no, this girl takes to Instagram and does the exact opposite. But I realize what it is now, and this is why it's so frustrating, folks. Being in shape, eating healthy is not easy. It's not. It takes a little bit of effort. It does. All this girl does, and this is what infuriates me so much about people. This is a lazy person. That's what this is to me. This is, you know what? It's hard to stay in shape. It's hard to eat healthy. I don't have time for that. I just don't want to work hard. It's too hard for me. I want to take the easy way out. So that's the real psychological process that goes down here. And you can equate this to many other situations and circumstances in life. But this is the psychological process. It's too hard. It's too hard. But they don't want to publicly admit that that's what's going on. She doesn't want to publicly go onto Instagram and say, it's too hard to stay in shape, so I'm just going to be fat. No, instead she says, because she doesn't want to admit that she's just lazy and it's too hard to stay in shape. So instead she just says, it's about self-love. It's about body positivity. No, it's about you're a fraud and you're lazy, okay? So don't sit here and put out some false narrative like you're happier with yourself because you gained a bunch of weight. This is all fake. This is a total facade. You know that she's pissed she gained weight. She knows that she looks better when she's skinny. Everybody knows she looks better when she's skinny, but she doesn't want to look skinny because it's too hard, and she just says self-love, that's why I'm fat. This is the easy way out. This is the social justice warrior, modern-day liberal easy way out. Just give up and then say it's a social justice warrior movement. Judge orders California to release papers discussing risk of cell phone use. Now, we've already talked about this. We've covered this ad nauseum, but there's another angle to this story. California could have to hand over some documents it tried to keep under wraps. And there's the key, folks, right here. Why is the state of California trying to maintain secrecy about studies that could show significant risk of cell phone use? On Friday, a Superior Court judge ordered the state to release papers discussing the risk of cell phone use. Again, you have to ask yourself, why wouldn't they immediately release this stuff? Who funded this stuff? My guess it was the taxpayer. But the state refused to hand them over when requested by a director. And now Joel Moskowitz, a PhD, is threatening to sue. He actually has sued the state of California. We need to see these documents, folks. We already know what's happening with the cell phone use. There's radiation everywhere. We have an item at InfoWarsStore.com, the pocket shield, the pocket protector from all the radiation coming off your cell phone. So I just had to bring that to your attention. But why is California hiding these results? What do they want you not to see? We're going to have more tonight. InfoWars Nightly News, 7 p.m. Central. The address by Donald Trump is going to be coverage live by Alex Jones, 7 p.m. Central. Infowars.com/show. Thanks, everybody who tuned in. InfoWarsStore.com. Support this broadcast.